So guys, we are doing this. We are gonna be going for it. So what's gonna happen is that right now I want us to start off first by taking a look at what exactly do I look for when I start out my week. Like what am I looking for? So obviously I'm gonna show you the instruments that I trade. I'm gonna share them with you so you can see them. I'll break it down as well in terms of why do I trade them, these specific instruments. Let me have this down so that I can have all these points that I'm saying. Today is the 15th of September, 15/9, 2025. So when I basically look at let me just say market analysis video. Yes. So what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm looking for. These are like four instruments. I'll break it down why exactly I'm looking at that. You know, look for and why I look for them. And then what I'll do is that I'll also get to break down the strategy that I use in order to be able to basically find profitability in the markets, especially after I've done so much, not changes, I wouldn't say changes because I don't really change my strategy, but I've done so much evolving, which means that I went from like basically trading very specifically, looking at specific risk to reward, to now eventually opening up my mind towards what my strategy can do for me. So just doing that on its own, it basically puts me ahead. It helps me be able to be content with myself, to be disciplined more, to be consistent, and more importantly, to get results a bit more faster. Because I feel like that's also very, very, very important. Being able to get results a bit more faster. And then yeah, man, that's just basically some of the things that we are gonna be looking at, and yeah. And then I'm actually looking for a trade right here. So hopefully, if I do happen to catch it, I can catch it on the session. That'll be nice, so you guys can witness how I go about it. But if not as well, it's fine. I can you know, I'll just share how I move. Okay, so are you guys ready for the session? Are we good to go? Are you guys ready for the session? Perfect. I can see Tandile. Nice one, brother. Nice one. Nice one. Let's go for it. Matati, Matati. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. I like that, guys. Yes, 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 yes. Anton, Anton. Nice one, bro. Nice one, bro. Good to see you here. Good to see you. So yeah, man. Let's push. Okay, I can see. Okay, no, let's go for it, guys. One thing that I'm looking at right now is that you see when it comes to the market as well, it's very important to be able to know what you want. Like, let's say, for instance, something as simple as like pips, being able to just focus on looking for pips. I wouldn't say let's chase pips. I'll say maybe attracting pips, because just that and as a whole, it's a game changer. Like when I realized that, like the market is not about that right setup, or the market is not about that, like a lot of things that I thought it was just more on how many pips can I catch from this move. And in order for me to catch those pips, how many pips am I gonna risk, like as a risk, and how much points am I gonna make per pip, which means that if I use this lot size, I'm gonna make this much. If I use this, that, and then becoming comfortable with whatever decision that I'm gonna make, and then from there we scale it up. So just by starting up first is I'm gonna be coming here at the dollar index. So I like starting up with the dollar index because of the fact that when it comes to the dollar index, it breaks down what the dollar as a whole is doing. So for most people, I know that maybe some people might not know. Some people, you should be able to know this, especially if you've been came in contact with the information that we have. But the dollar index is just basically us looking at the dollar on its own. So some people would rather look at the USD JPY or GBP USD and so on. But when you look at the dollar index on its own, it helps you understand, and the most importantly, it helps you be able to see what the dollar is going to be doing. So it helps you be able to make certain decisions, especially when you are going to be trading pairs that have the dollar. So I'm just going to start it out fresh, remove everything. Okay, perfect. I'm going to start off first here by the weekly, and I just want to see what actually is going on. So I can see with the dollar right now, we've came from here being our low right here, and then we went all the way up to here, which took a couple of years, I believe. Started 2021 here at the bottom, and somewhere here 2022 a year. we went all the way up, and ever since we've been ranging in between. So basically this range has been taking more like 4 years, 2 years. Let's see, this 2022, so 3 years. So yeah, 3 years we've been ranging here. But with the looks of it, we're ranging more going to the downside, which means that we are ranging, but we are trying to target these levels here at the bottom here. Okay, so it's like we're trying, because you can see here lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we broke above, then we came back to break below the low, and then now we're just creating a more of a lower low type structure. But let's just build from it. Let me go on the daily. So right now on the daily, one thing that I'm seeing is I can see how price came from being here, lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low here, lower high, lower low, lower high. So basically what I'm looking for is, the whole goal is to not change. Like it's easier to get continuation setups compared to finding reversal setups. You understand? Because continuation patterns are much more easier, because you're working with what you're seeing, what the market is giving you, and what's more likely to happen compared to reversals. Reversals, you're working with what you'd like to happen. You're working with you hoping for yourself to catch the trend when it starts, on which it's very rare that you it's like that. You can't, if let's say for instance, a CEO of a major company works, let's say a CEO of, just thinking outside the box, I don't know, Apple, and you can't just sit outside the office and wait for that person to come out. Like that the time is going to come out at the front door of the office. It's probably going to be once, maybe in a year, if not in 3 years time. Do you get it? Because why? There's maybe underground parkings that the guy can use, go out somewhere somehow privately. There's maybe even like at the top, you can land a helicopter, you can leave with it, go. There's different ways a person can move, so you can't just expect and time one specific thing. Yes, if you do time, it's going to take long for that to happen. So same thing with us. If we look for timing, or trying to just look at where exactly is the reverse going to happen, that's going to be confusing. It's not really a strategy that you can work with. But if you only focus on the continuation setups, then yeah, even if it doesn't work out, but the honest truth is that they would have a much more higher win rate. Okay, so with that, I can already see that we are forming lower lows, lower highs, and so on. Let me go to the 4 hour. Okay, let me just zoom in. Okay, at the top 4 hour, I can see this was our low. We went a bit more higher here, higher low, higher high, and then now we started coming back down here doing this. So here we could see that basically, just by looking at structure as well, obviously I did say higher high, higher low, and then higher high, and then here's the low, and then this was more of a like a retest type thing, and then we went down here, and then we started building lower low, lower high, lower low, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and basically lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So what I'm looking for right now is for price to, because I can see this was a level of support, but eventually we did test it, ne? So we did test it, because I can see our level of support right here. We had this level that got tested right here, and eventually now we are coming here for a third touch, on which there's two ways. It's either price can hold it and then try to push a bit more up, so that it creates another lower high. What does that mean? That means like maybe price coming, since this is a lower high trend that's going like this. Let me use this like this, a lower high. Price can potentially come, give us a third touch here, test it, and then go create that lower high, and then eventually break. You understand? Because one thing that I also got to notice is on Mondays, as much as there are days when it can be profitable, but Mondays are those days whereby it can, the market can start and show you that it's going to do something. Like, let's say it's going to break to the downside, or it's going to go to the upside, and you're so confident, you're so excited, and you're going to commit on a trade, and you take that trade, and then only to find out that it does something else. Let's say you take this thinking it's going to go up, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to go buy, you're going to hold it all the way till here, and then Monday it activates you, it goes a bit in profits, and then just Tuesday when it starts, it continues what it wanted to do. It moves in the rightest way that it wanted to move. So that's one of the things that we need to be able to look out for, to not be a trap of the market Mondays, or traps that the market can do. Remember, these are people's emotions, so it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be very simple, like it's not going to be too visible that we are buying or we are selling. It shouldn't be that easy. But at the end, you are trading against people's emotions, in terms of, once you're able to spot that buy, once you're able to spot that sell, especially when it's in alignment with the strategy, then it's more on refining in terms of what are the masses more likely to do, and what should I do on my side in order to limit, being this part of the statistics, which is like the majority of people that are taking losses, you see. And that will come with like things like trail stopping, locking risk. I mean, locking some of the risk once it's in profit. Yeah, and just managing the trade. It's more on the management side compared to on the catching the trade, because a lot of people have caught trades and gave it back to the markets. Né? So basically, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing here. Let me just note it down. I'm seeing basically short. Short-term longs, long-term shorts, short-term longs, long-term shorts. What do you mean? Short-term long, short-term buy. Since it's gonna be coming up just a bit, might see this, and then long-term sellers all the way down. But the sellers, they would also confirm once we have broken below the low. Once we've broken below here, that's when the sellers would as well confirm, because why? It means that we would be coming all the way down to here. Mind you, this is the 4-hour time frame. So I know that it might look like it's gonna be a quick move, but it's not a quick move. It's actually on the 4-hour time frame. This can actually take more than, like, it can take a week, or like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like those 3 days. That's when you can take to basically play out. So yeah, it's very critical, especially this whole area. Once we can see once before it breaks above. Yeah, if obviously it breaks above this area, because I'm looking at this being our lower high, like lower low here, price went up, low here. So if it breaks above this area, obviously it means that now I should start looking for buys. I can't still, one thing as well is you need to be able to evolve your mindset. So you can't still see the same thing when price is showing. You can't say there's a pink car that's gonna be coming next and then it's a blue car, and you're still saying, no, I still believe that it has to be a pink car. It already passed that opportunity, you understand? So you need to evolve. It doesn't mean you're changing, you're switching up and it's no longer like that. No, it's just evolving. It's working out what's given now, and that should be normal for you to do, like to evolve as structure goes. As long as you didn't execute, as long as you didn't risk money, because the most important thing with the markets is preserving your capital. So that's what you should be focusing more on. So right now I can see if price happens to, like I did say, break above, I would obviously wait for a retest somewhere somehow. And then once price pushes a bit more up, that's when I'll be able to take it. But that'll just be in the future if that happens, because I'll have to adjust and look at it in a certain way. But for now, like we did say, obviously looking for price to just touch it and then come back up, respect this area, and then go back down, and then break below, and then that's where we're going to be scaling more. So I'm just going to leave it like this. So obviously it helps us be able to see as the day goes, as the week goes. I will be as well updating this like in the group, so you're able to see and witness it. But let's look at the most interesting. So these are the ones that I personally I only trade specifically gold. GBPSD, I wouldn't really say that I traded. It's just a thing of right now, like what the past 2 weeks, I felt like there were some trades on gold that kept me waiting for a bit too long. And I wanted to add one instrument that is more on the currency side. I did trade GBPUSD, I did trade Euro USD, but I felt like those two, they were more on like similar. And as well, I felt like especially on, because eventually I left Euro USD and I started focusing more on GBP USD, but I felt like it was more on like rivals, like trading. Yes, it's one of the most liquid and traded pairs out there, but I felt like it's rivals in terms of GBP on its own has its own strength. It is volatile on its own, like the pound, especially around London session, and then a few hours later, which is New York session, I felt like USD as well now gained a lot of strength as well. So it was, sometimes you could see that the dollar index is going to drop, but because of pound being, because of pound being strong, it was hard to be able to determine things like that. So that's when I decided that, okay, when trading things that are related to USD, it's going to be more on gold and as well BTC USD. And then when trading something that's 100% not related to anything that has to do with USD, then I was like, you know what, let me just go for GBP JPY. It has out of all the currencies, more like the exotics, it has a great pip value. I remember I used to trade this back in the olden times, this GBP JPY and as well USD MXN. And for every 1 pip, I would get more compared to other instruments and currencies. So there's like a bit lesser than NASDAQ and US 30 and so on. It's a bit more safer, less in terms of pip value and all those things. and as well the way that it moves is much more, for me it makes sense. But a lot of people would jump to your Nasdaqs and your US 30s, on which I also done that. I also traded them. I've made a lot of money from them. But anyways, I don't think those are for beginners. Those need you to have like a solid strategy that's working, because it's too volatile. But yeah, with gold, this one here has been nice. This one has been treating us well. It's not like all trades I did take were profitable. There were trades that I did take that were not profitable, but most of them were profitable. Like even when I'm looking at my statistics on my accounts, all trades that I took on gold are the ones that grew my account. And when I was trying other things like trading other stuff, that's where my account went a bit more down. Like I remember I traded GBP USD a few days ago, not a few days, I think it was like a month or something. Let's just see if it was still this is on the 4 hour. I think I removed the chart. Yeah, I think I removed it. Yeah, I traded a few days ago, but it didn't move nice, and I didn't like it. I don't like things that end up messing up with your psychology. Especially if your strategy works, and now you're gonna have to change and look at what's the ultimate thing. Okay, so let me just start this from scratch as well, so that it's just because I have a lot of things. I've been working on this every single day, so I'm just starting it so you can see 100% what I see. Okay, so right now one thing that I'm looking at is I'm going to start off first here with the 4 hours. So on the 4 hour I can simply see that. Okay, let me just start with the weekly just to take things more easier so you have an understanding. So with the weekly, when it comes to the gold, you can simply see we are now at the highest level, on which I also don't like the position that it's in, but I'll show you how we can capitalize from it still. But we're at the highest level, which means that every day we're just breaking new highs and highs and highs and highs and so on. And the honest truth is that it's not going to be stopping. Let's say, for instance, yes, it can retrace, but we are still going to be gaining strength on gold. Like, investing in gold is one of the best things that one can do. It's very stable. It's very, risk-free type thing, and it's predictable in a way, and it's the best commodity that one can have, I think. So now, just by coming from the daily, obviously I can see this is our high, and then we have a pattern here. Looking at the pattern, just like this, and then price broke out. So obviously with these patterns, just by having a clearer understanding, or just by you seeing this pattern with the naked eye, you can easily see that this is a symmetrical triangle. Yeah, so symmetrical triangle is almost like what we did speak about. It's a continuation pattern. If you see this whether it's in a downtrend or whether it's in an uptrend, it means that it is continuing towards its direction. It's not going to retrace, it's not going to reverse, which means that this was not expected to go down. Going up was actually expected. So yeah, we are on the right track, especially on the bigger time frame. We're in an upward trend. Let's say 4 hour. So with the 4 hour, I can see this is where we came from. Price kept on pushing upwards impulsively, massively. Reached here, we went a bit more higher for a young retrace. We continue pushing higher high, higher low, higher high, and then right now we are here at this phase. So I'm gonna go to the 60-minute. So on the 60-minute, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to mark out these areas. I'm going to mark out my highest point, which is right here. When was this? This was on Tuesday, last week Tuesday. Last week Tuesday was my highest point. And I'm going to mark out my lowest point, which is right here. Perfect. So now basically I'm seeing what price is doing. Last week Tuesday, it was here at the highest, and on Friday, which is last week Friday, was here at the lowest. So now I can see where prices, I can see what range we are currently in. So what I'm going to do is that I want to focus in between these areas here. In between here, I want to focus on it so that I can be able to find profitable setups. Because if I try to say, oh no, this thing is going up, I just want to buy and go all the way up with it, so I might not find a nice setup, because it might still take long for that setup to play out, or for even me to have take profit. But if I also say I'm selling, I can't sell in a bullish market. This is bullish. No matter what, I can't sell in a bullish market. Like, even if it's a sell, it's a short-term sell, and it's wiser to not be involved in it. Like, I remember when I took some sells on it. I took one or two 2 weeks ago, and one hit stop loss, and the other one took me out with, like, I moved risk to half a percentage after it went a bit in my profits, and then it went up and took me. Why? Because the market was more buying compared to selling. So even if I caught the best trade, as long as it's buying, it's buying. So right now we are here at the 1 hour. I can spot this. So I'm gonna go to the 15-minute. So on the 50-minute, I can still be able to spot this area. Okay, let me just filter, put this a bit more nice. I want it to be more visible so I can work with it. Yes. Okay. 15 minutes. I can see right now here within structures here, I can simply see that we've got this area higher high. Let me do this higher high, higher low, higher high right here. And then we had this low, couldn't break the high, couldn't break the low. We slightly broke the high. We came back. We didn't break the high now. We broke the low. You can see this was the low. We broke it. We didn't break the high, the lower high, and then we just playing around here now. This is where we are. So obviously now with an understanding that I see we broke the lows, it means that within the structure here, on paper, basically it's more of like a short-term sell. Why? Because of prices creating lower lows and lower highs. Because with this, it means that I'm just gonna do this, look at this, and then price would have to break above, break below, and then continue going all the way down till somewhere here. Once we get you at the lowest, that's where we might potentially, be able to just go to the upside. Okay. So let me just dive more deeper on it to show you how I would go about placing trades on this. Because actually, truth speaking, I think I should be looking or finding an opportunity soon. 5 min. Yes. So what the first thing that I've done is that you can simply see right here, there's this tool that I have here, which is saying Lux Algo sessions, New York, London, Tokyo, Sydney, and so on. So this is a free thing that I came here and I got just to be able to have. I just searched sessions here, and then it's this one here. You can see this one here. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, this one here. So I believe anyone can have it. Is what I'm saying. It's free. So what I've done is that just by coming here, it allows me to have a much more clearer understanding of the sessions. Because why I'm on a smaller time frame, I'm on a 5-minute time frame, and I need to see at all sessions how does the market react. Like let's say, for instance, just by looking at this between the structures, we're still in between the structure. Let's say you see this was the highest. Just by looking at it, let's say starting up with the new Tokyo. Look at the Tokyo here. Price went a bit more low. We broke the lows here, and then we went all the way up. We broke the highs back up again, then we went up, and so on. And then once London started here. We continue going up. We retraced, respected here, like in terms of the higher low. We respected, and then we went all the way up. And then we're basically, so we came back again. This would have been another entry. We came back again, respected the lows once more. We went up again. So basically around London, I see it gave me multiple entries. And then now this was New York. New York, in fact, started here a few minutes just before New York is the one that I was saying gave me multiple entries. New York, and then price started going back upwards again. Then price went down, which now means that it broke the low. It's no longer an upward trend, it's a downward trend. So it went a bit more high, down, and then went up, almost like a retest towards this area, but this was not the cleanest. And the price went down, broke the lows, and then went back up to retest this area. This was the perfect one. It was around Tokyo. Then it went all the way down. And we can see how price moves during Tokyo. We can see how price as well moves during London, plus as well New York. So I only took out Sydney session because I didn't really think it's valuable for me. Because anyways, I don't really focus much on it. But I only came here and you see here, I can do this. I put it back. It's gonna come up. It shows here. But yeah, for me, I don't really focus much on it. So it's around 9 till 6. So I don't really. I'm more yes. This in the AMs. London in the mornings, and as well New York is where it's fine for me. So you can see the same thing happened: London, New York, Tokyo, London, and then now obviously within the next 1 hour there should be New York session that's going to be coming up. So with that being said, now I can see that during the Tokyo session the price came all the way down. We broke above below here. Let me remove this so that we don't see much. We broke below here, lower low, lower high, lower low. We went up, we broke this high, and then here higher low, higher high, then price came here. So basically just by looking at it, now let me just show you what I'm looking for. This was the low that we broke right here. We broke it here. It was broken here, and then low, lower high, lower low, and then this was now breaking that high. You see, so now we're breaking that lower high, which is a high, which means that automatically I want you to see this. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I want you to have a clearer understanding of seeing how I'm going to get my setup. As soon as we broke this lower high here, which means that it's no longer, because it was supposed to respect it and continue going down, but because it didn't, it's no longer um lower lows and lower highs and so on. And it makes perfect sense because why? It was a retracement in a bigger trend, uptrend. Mind you, we're still in an uptrend. This is gold uptrend, but that was just a retracement. So with that being said, I can see that we went higher high, and then now we went here at the bid here. So what that, just as soon as this breaks, this is the break of that lower high. It's more of like that's where you start seeing terms like change of character. It's changing its character. It's no longer becoming lower lows, lower highs. It's now gonna become higher highs and higher lows, which means that this is where price has changed its character. Right here. Right here. We've changed it. And then after we've changed our character, we got our high here. We got a new high here, which right here, if you see, it's now more of a breaking of the structure. So basically now price has broken structure. We've changed character, which is now we've formed higher high, and then now we've broke that structure. We continuing to form more higher highs and higher lows. So normally what I do is that the exact same thing, without complicating, without even going back and forth, without like I'm trying to make things look cool and stuff. The same thing that I do is I go literally to the lowest candle that actually developed the change of character, which is, this is the change of character. The candle, the lowest that developed it, this is the last bearish. So if, let's say for instance, I'm looking for this is like an upward, I'm gonna look for the bearish, which is the last selling candle that was able to create that. You understand? So people can argue and say this makes perfect sense, but for me, I'd rather go for something more like this. Why? Because this is the candle that came before this bullish engulfing candle that started taking over. Because after this bullish engulfing candle, price has never been below this bullish engulfing candle. So what am I going to do? I am going to highlight this. I'm going to take it, highlight the whole candle, the whole bearish candlestick right here. Boom. And then once I've highlighted that down, one thing that I understand is that right here, this is the low. I can see these are lows, but there's what we call sweeps that can happen from the market. So with these sweeps, it's when the market basically just comes and then it'll normally it's things like stop hands. Like when you see things like stop hands, sometimes I know you've seen yourself put a stop loss at a specific area. The price can come, take you out, and then continue going in your direction. That's like what you call like stop hands. But with the sweep, what can happen is price can obviously just really come back down, and then once it comes back down, obviously there's people that are gonna buy here. Mind you, I nearly became a victim of buying here. In fact, I wanted to buy here. Maybe I would have been in profits, because as soon as this happened, when it went up here, went down, went up, another break of strategy. When it went down, I wanted to buy here, truly speaking, in the morning, but I was actually reading a book and I was not really on the charts. And I think it's okay, because I was gonna buy here, put my stop loss below, risk reward 1:2. So I was gonna like get a trade more like this. You understand? But I just decided that, you know what, anyways, there's a thing that I work with here that focuses. Chart is not showing what you're saying. Okay, I can see witnesses saying the chart is not showing what I'm saying. Just to confirm, can you see it clearly, witness? Just to confirm, can you see the charts clearly? Is it showing much more clearly? Or other members, the members that are here, can you guys confirm if you see in the charts clearly, if you guys can hear me properly, so that I continue, because I continue. Just confirm. Okay, yeah, all is good, all is good. Okay, yeah, so again, okay, perfect, you guys are confirming. Okay, no problem then. If you guys can see, then let me just continue pushing. But yeah, so right now we can easily see that here most people, on which it could still be a good setup, but I feel like if it was like more during the week, I would have like looked at it. But price is more likely gonna come, tag, and then go a bit more to the upside, and then do that sweep that we spoke about. So sweep is like when you have people that are gonna put buy here because of they're looking at support, they're gonna put their stop loss here at the bottom, and maybe potentially they're looking to take profit somewhere around here. And then that's where you'll see price doing something more like this. And that's where people are gonna start thinking that the market is targeting them specifically. I've felt like that many times. Price is gonna go up, then boom, activate, and then maybe even do like a head and shoulders and then continue its journey to the upside. You understand? So it's not it shouldn't be that easy in terms of like, oh, support, let's buy. No, 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 no. There's things that are gonna, there's manipulations, there's sweeps, there's, and it's not on the broker. This is literally just people's reactions. This is supply. This is supply. This is what is it? This is like a support area. Once it's a support area, a lot of people are potentially gonna look to buy. Price, because a lot of people are buying, price is going to be pushed upwards because it's a lot of retail traders that are buying, they're coming with momentum. But because, like, let's say for instance, it's not at the lowest level that people can buy at, it's still high, you know. It's like knowing that something's going to be cheap and you're seeing people buying it right now because of fear of missing out. You know it's going to be cheap, so you're gonna still wait for it to be cheap so you can buy it when it's at its cheapest level. So that's the exact same thing. There are people like institutions, banks, and all those things with money that are gonna wait for this to be more cheaper. And when for it to get more cheaper is when price pushes upwards and it goes down and then it takes out other people. It's gonna get cheaper when there's not a lot of people are gonna be in on this trade, because why, it's gonna be way more less, and we can buy it even much more clean and nice. And advantages when they enter, that's when the market is going to start shooting and railing to the upside without like any back and forth and so on. Okay, so with that being said, I am looking for price to just sweep below here. Once it sweeps, it's going to come and tag us in. And then once it takes us in, another thing is that I can have fear of missing out and say, oh no, let me put my stop loss, I mean my entry here, because I'm looking at this candle and so on. But it's not really part of how I see things, because at the end, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this entry here. I'm looking at my stop loss be just below. You see a previous candle stop loss is below. Looking at it right here, you can simply see it's more like 54, like 54 pips, more like 54 pips. And then my target, oh, so another thing is that one of the updates that I done, remember we're speaking, I told you before the session, let me see, not to forget what I look for. We did look why I look for them. I did break it down, why exactly I look for it. And okay, this is more of a strategy breakdown of it. But the evolving that I've done is that I've realized, because now I'm more into prop firms, like I'm more into trading prop firms and so on. Like I've took a break from trading personal accounts, and that is just because of the fact that I have goals of trading with more bigger personal accounts. And I've realized that even as much as, like, yeah, sometimes like trading with 100 or like 200k or like 300k or 500k here, um I feel like it's still not enough, especially if you're gonna be trading full time. For most people, yes, it can be enough anyways. Like, if you make 30k or like 10k, that can take care. But like, truly speaking, for me, it's not really much, because maybe just to live on its own, I'm gonna need like at least 100k in profits just to see the next month. So obviously, it means that if I'm trading with like 250 or 300k, I need to make like what, 40%. That's a lot. It's a lot. It's attainable, I've done that, but I need to make 40% in a month. And one thing that I came into realization is that, because I actually got my first profit from like 3 years ago, I think 3 4 years ago. But I traded for a while. I got a few payouts and then I just left it, because anyways, I had my own fund, my own personal accounts and all those things. It's just that now, as I get older, I see it. Okay, now I have more bigger goals. I have other things that I want to work with, and I don't like using my money, like in terms of actually putting my money in on the markets. Like, I'd rather do that on a bigger account when I know that if I caught this trade, it's more rewarding compared to doing that, like, let's say for instance, catching a very good trade, very profitable trade, and only making like maybe 10k or like 15k or 20k. So one thing I saw is that, like, let's say for instance, one of my short-term goals is to actually get to 500k in funding before end of the year, which is in the next 3 months. Currently we are close to 6 figures in funding, because I've got FTM, I've got top one trade and so on. But let's say for instance in 500k, then I've realized that just by making like 3% on a specific, like, doesn't mean in a month, no, just 3% before payout. Mind you, let's say if payout is every second week. In fact, I even like the concept of profits when payout is every month or every second week, but not every day, because anyways, every day you don't want to withdraw. So if, let's say for instance, we pull a good 3% on 500k, account, or even if it's just, let me just work with max funding on FTMO. Let's just do something very simple, max funding on FTMO. Because anyways, like I did say, I have other accounts that I'm going to be stacking up, like funding other prop firms, other like from different companies and so on. And I'm not really going to talk much about them up until I actually get, like, obviously FTM, I've got payouts from other prop firms like Blue Gardens. I've got payouts from other prop firms that even shut down. But I don't want to talk much about certain prop firms up until I do get payouts, because I don't want to tell people about something that I personally haven't really seen results from. So the only time you'll get to hear me speak about other prop firms is when I'm showing you my payout certificate, when I'm breaking it down to you on how actually I done that, and when I'm showing you how much I was able to acquire in terms of funding and how I acquired that fund. That's when I'll break it down. But for now, it's just a personal journey that I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna lock out everything. I'm gonna lock out a lot, but I'm gonna lock in more on it. So let's say 400K on just one prop firm account, which is max allocation FTMO. This would potentially be, let me just do, I'm taking out my calculator right here. 400, 3%. That's like $12,000. That's $12,000. So obviously in rents, $12,000. Let's just say multiply by 18 is like 216. So there's like 216. And I know for most people, 216K is gonna change their lives. 12K, which is 216K. 216K. But I think this for me would make sense, especially because of the fact that I'll be looking to go more, like, let's say for instance, like getting more capital, like getting more funds, not just one account. This will just be max allocation on one specific account, but I am also going to have, like, let's say different props, like at least if I can have 2, 3, 4 more that I'm also on max allocation, which now is going to obviously break that 500K mark and so on. But this is just like at least by end of the year. So with this being said, just that on its own, 3%, mind you, 3% is not going to be a month. No, this is just going to be maybe in a week or in like a 2-week span. And for this to be achieved is just need to find this, like, let's say a trade, and then I realize that, boom, having this 2 risk reward 1:2 with the win rate of, like, let's say, obviously if you just maintain like a good win rate, it will automatically, let me just pull out one of my prop accounts. Let me just put it out so I just speak with because even me, I'm gonna get confused if I try to explain to you all there. I just want you to see. So today I done like more like a mistake. I wouldn't say it's a mistake. Last week we sent a trade and I just forgot to move my stop. What's it? This trade in the Discord. Where's the trade? Let me open up the Discord. Last week I actually sent a trade in the Discord, and this whole weekend I forgot to remove it. Where is it? I forgot to analysis. I think it's yeah, this one here. You see this year. Last week I sent this, and then I forgot to remove it because price started doing it. It didn't go. And then this morning when I woke up, price activated, and then it went and hit stop, and then went up. And obviously that was not part of the deal. It was not supposed to go that long. Like, I was looking for it to come like around here on this day. So I just didn't really update my, what is it? I didn't remove the trade from the system. Let me just put it this way. So that was like a mistake on my side, on which I only have one trade, because in a day I can only take 2 profitable trades, 2 high quality trades. And that one day was not a high quality trade because it's a mistake. So I take it. But now I can only take 2 trades, risking 0.75%. In order of me to be able to be profitable, I can only take 2 trades in a day, risking only 0.7% religiously, no matter what, and targeting risk reward of 1:2. So just by saying that, let me just open here's one of the accounts. Let me do this matrix. So looking at yeah, this is the trade this is the one. You see, I was taking this literally when I woke up, but the prior days, you can see here we had this, Okay, this was another three. So this was when I take 0.75, double of them is like negative 1.5% in a day. And then this was like another time. And then these I think there's like maybe break even. This is normal. So my average winning trades are like $700, ne? My average winning trades are like $700 if you look at it, because every time I'm risking one, which is when I'm risking like $500 in order to make your $1,000 and so on. And this account, okay, we've had okay, let me just see. I just want to see when risk reward. Normally I'm target 1:2. So if I've placed this, okay, I think the worst trade. Let me see. Oh, you see the worst trade is this one. This one, it's more like the one that I done like by mistake. I don't know if that the best trade is more like this, which is the average one. And then you're also able to see things like okay, since yeah, we started this 13 days ago, and so far mean profits, I have to get to $5,000 in order to hit this. But like I think because today we already took 500, I was already in like 1 point, I don't know, 1.2, 1.3, left with only like two more profitable trades that I was done. But because of this now, obviously I'm looking for one trade. I believe once I catch one profitable trade, now it's gonna be back into profit. I'm not profits, I mean like bring back the negative of earlier and then put me ahead and so on. But it's just a thing of being able to secure, that writer's trade, being able to focus more on what's important and diving more deep on it. So like how I was explaining to you, looking at it just with this risk reward 1:2, being able to have a win rate of like at least 50% and above. Mind you, it's not always going to be 50%. It's going to be a bit more sometimes it's going to be less. But being able to have such a risk to reward, that will definitely be a game changer. It will be a game changer. There's no other way. There's no back and forth. There's no anything else. It will be a game changer. You understand? And then with this, obviously, I am looking into going all the way to somewhere around here. And then once we do get here, that's where management comes into place. Management meaning that now I have to see how do I manage this trade? How do I go about managing it? Because there's multiple ways about it. Ne? I can scale it, and then this could potentially come here after hitting first take profit. We come here, which now turns into a 8. You understand? But why? The only time it gets to turn into a 8 is when already it's a 2% profit. I can offload some profits, like 50% of the profits. I offload it, I take it, and then the rest of it, I block in maybe profits at 1%, or depending on how structure moves. If there's a higher low, I lock it just below that higher low, and then I tag it. And then the more higher it goes, the more I'll be able to capitalize on it. So that's what I'm looking for, especially here on gold. It's going to be sick, it's going to be insane. And let's see BTC USD. So with BTC USD, I noticed that I've been speaking for quite some time now. So I'm going to try to push this a bit more quicker so that we are able to be done. And yeah, BTC USD, the thing is, for me, Bitcoin is more of like long-term trades. I don't really, what did I press? I don't really day trade it that much. Sometimes on weekends when I'm bored, I can trade it because the market doesn't move on weekends, but Bitcoin and them, they move on weekends. But for me, it's just nice to know, because I am holding some Bitcoins and stuff. So it's nice to just see what is going on. Sorry. So what does I can see price came, we're here at the bottom, double bottom here. We went up, high, low, high, couldn't break it, low, high, couldn't break it, low, boom, we broke with this nice engulfing, which now change of trend, which now is back up to being an upward trend, then higher high. Then now we see here. So what I'm gonna do now is I am just gonna take this, boom, emphasize this upward trend. You can see first touch, second touch, price could potentially easily just, it's either we come back here, give us a third touch, continue going up, or from here where it is just shoot upwards. But one thing I can see is price is looking to start pushing more to the upside. We need to also just be on the lookout for this area. Once it gets here, is it gonna break above? Is it gonna respect and go down? But the only time it will, like, let's say for instance, become a downward trend is obviously if price breaks below this. You see this? If it breaks below here, like breaks below it, closes below, boom, then it means that obviously now it's going to be a change of trend. Change of trend would simply mean that we are now and then going all the way down. And potentially we could come here because I still had this area one after it broke here, still had this area as our lowest point that Bitcoin can come to like 98,000 before we go up, on which could be good for investors because you know that if you buy in Bitcoin, you could rather buy it here and then go back up with it. It's also okay. It's not like it's a problem, but obviously no one would want to see themselves losing money throughout that whole phase. So during this time, obviously now we're just going to be staking up on more buys, but ultimately we are coming here at the high. And how did I get that? It's because of I was able to spot this impulse, this correction, and the next impulse here. This one here, I was able to spot this. And how did I took this from the low all the way up to the high. And at the break of the impulse, this flag, at the break of it, at the break, you can see this is the break, this is where it broke. See, yeah, this is the high. So the impulse leg, after correction, there comes the next impulse, which is now. We had a young impulse here. This was another correction. This was a young impulse. This is more of a deeper correction here. But in the bigger time frame, this is a deeper correction in a bigger time frame. And now we're just looking for a continuation, for price to just continue pushing more upwards. So yeah, I was looking for price to retest here and then go back up, but I don't think it's more likely to happen that way with the looks of it. I just believe that it's either gonna come test there, continue going up, or maybe just play around somewhere here at the low, test the low and then go up. But we're not gonna go as low as this anymore. In fact, we are potentially going to come here at this level before we get here. So this could be our first target, second target, eventually our third target here. But so you see with the previous week, I was looking at this move, but I didn't really get activated because it didn't activate me. You see, I was looking at this move, price coming, retesting, going up. Risk reward 1:2, but it didn't activate. Look at it. It missed me with just a few points and then it went straight, hitting take profit and so on. But such, it makes me feel good because it shows me that the strategy works. Now it's just more on being patient with the entries. Because if I try to refine it and do something, it'll be tricky. If we just try to refine it out of nowhere, it will be tricky, guys. I won't lie. It will be tricky. So I don't want it to get to be like that. I just want it to be normal, to be sane, so I can work with it as well. So that's what I will be focusing more on. Let me just remove this, put it back this side. Yeah. And yeah, right now, here at the 1 hour, you can already see. Yeah, just we're coming down here. You see where we are. Previous resistant. Now this is when it came back. It missed me there with my entry, but it came back here. And I could have still rushed there and say, oh no, I want to be involved. I don't want to miss out. I want to be involved. And I could have still took that by risk reward 1:2. By it was going to be, yeah. Risk reward 1:2. Let me see. Stop loss potential. Let me see. I was going to be looking at the previous candle. But this thing, I don't think I would have took a trade like this, because anyways, it's gonna be hard to put a stop loss here, because I can't really say I'm gonna put a stop loss underneath here. It wouldn't make sense. I have to put it below a higher low. Whenever you're placing a buy, no matter what, guys, like you see even here, when I want this buy, I'm putting my stop loss below this. Even if I were to buy here, if I were to buy this move, like let's say I was looking at this and I'm buying this move, my stop loss was gonna be below the move, because I'm buying the move. I'm not buying like I'm buying this move. My stop loss is gonna be below. The square 1:2, same thing. You see, so that's the ultimate thing that I'm looking for. So this one here wouldn't really have made sense to put like a stop loss. But if let's say I was buying after this engulfing happened, obviously I would have put it below the engulfing. But for now, I'm just gonna look at this one here. Okay, we got this skyrocket here. I was trying to see what price is more likely to do, because I can see now how we're moving with GBP JPY. Let me just clean it out. Remove. we've got this area, higher high, higher lows, higher high, higher lows. Here, okay, this was lows, lower high, lower low. Price came, broke those higher, so higher high, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, higher. So basically, we're in an upward trend. One thing I can see is on GBP where we are in an upward trend. And with this one here, so if you guys are in the private group, you guys are in the private group, and if you guys realize in the private group, there's two different types of strategies that are also broke down in there. There's one which is the first one was the where it's just like showing you basically what I'm showing you right now. But there's also the advanced strategies. So that's with GBP that's what I'm using. I'm using the advanced strategies on it. So with this, it's 100% very simple and straightforward. Come here looking for, okay, I know that I'm looking for, it's an upward trend. I'm gonna go to the 5 minute because I like finding them on the 5 minute. But right now I've noticed that because I was looking if price is gonna form one here, but I see it broke above, so I'd have to wait for another retrace. So what I'm looking for here is literally 100% a bad pattern. So a bad pattern would simply mean, you see now price created a high here. That means I'd wait for it to retrace till 0.5 level. I'd wait for it to push up. I'd wait for it to come to 88.6. Once it at 88.6, I'll take this buy. Stop loss 1:2. Done. So that's all that I'm looking for, especially on GBP. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at what trend are we in. Okay, now that we're in the trend, where is my bad pattern? You understand? That's the strategy that I'm using exactly on GBP. You can find it in the I think it's the advanced section or the intermediate section. It's in the intermediate section, not the advanced, not the elite, the intermediate. You can find it there. You can see it 100% broken down to you. Obviously, there's times we're going to catch more, but I'm also always just looking for 1:2. That's the highest win rate that I was able to find. That is the highest. Okay. So, but yeah, man, for now, I am going to be diving more deep, looking at gold, what it's doing, managing it, looking at now in the market. It's still in London. We're going to be opening New York. I have to see what New York is doing, what New York is saying, and all those things. But yeah, man, I am happy. I am excited. I am glad to all those that actually did benefit from the session. Yeah, man, we are going to be doing more of these. So I'm excited that you guys did happen to have showed up. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited.